You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 89 of Flippin the Birds. I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett. And today we're going to talk about the most recent reports that's going on. But first and foremost, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good. Had some time off, then came back and talked to Sean Bradley. So, riding the high right now.
There's nothing better than that, right?
Yeah. How are you? How are you doing? How's your week going?
It's been a long week already. And I feel like I said that to you last week too.
Honestly,
July to me is like the weirdest month because like we always book a vacation, except for last year. But we always book a vacation in July, and on top of that, it's my daughter's birthday, and it's just like it's hectic, and it's the month before training camp.
Well, we're halfway through it. That's the thing. Sometimes doing this on a Tuesday, it's like I'm looking forward to it, and then it's Tuesday, and it's like shit. I still got like 3 more days. Like, it's a blessing.
Got the rest of the week to go.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, just for everybody that's joining us right now, or if you're listening to the audio portion right now, if you're listening on Flippin the Birds podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, whatever case may be, we need you guys to tune out and go to PSN Radio and start subscribing to there, because we are actually moving all our audio podcasts to PSN Radio from here on out. So take this moment to just shut off this podcast, back out, go to PSN Radio. We'll be right there with a full episode. And yeah, that's where you guys can find us from here on out. Make sure you guys do subscribe to that. On top of that, make sure you guys subscribe to the link below if you're on YouTube. It's for the Flippin the Birds YouTube channel. So we'll have all our clips and all the latest talk up there as well. And going forward, starting in August, Morgan and I will be taking a mailbag podcast episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. Shoot us your questions. I love answering questions. There's no dumb questions, probably better than some of ours anyways. So we'll just take credit. And anyways, yeah, chance to get on the podcast. I'm looking forward to it. Trying to build a brand at PSN. Guys, if you don't know, we cover all sports there, all Philly sports. We even do some weird sports you even haven't heard of. So check them out. Show some
Harry Potter sport.
Yeah. We're here at the Quidditch fields, So yeah, check it out. Got a lot of great writers on there. Got like a lot of love for our whole team. So check them out as well.
Yeah, definitely tune in, guys, and definitely looking forward to working on that mailbag episode. So we're gonna talk about something that Chris Scott has already brought to our attention. So Chris Scott live on YouTube never fails. Some unnamed source says the players aren't sure Sirianni can lead this team. It's bull fake story. So I don't know if you saw it, but it was probably 2 days ago. I put it in our Slack chat for the Eagles. Michael Robinson announcing exactly right. He announced live on television that's very pridefully as well. That's what threw me off, because he had a little too much swagger to it. He's feeling himself a bit, saying like, yeah, I've heard from a couple guys that they don't trust Sirianni, which goes against the tide of everything we've read this offseason or heard. We've heard Lane Johnson. We've heard Jason Kelce. We've heard Jalen Hurts. We've heard Devontae Smith. We've heard so many players vouch for Sirianni and even praise Sirianni for the level of accountability he brings to this team. Sean Bradley talked to us about the excitement that the team has and the camaraderie that the locker room currently has with us last week. So what do you take from this? I hate using the word fake news, because to me I hate the term.
Yeah.
What do you take from this BS?
Honestly, I mean, I feel like it's time, man. Philly media. I mean, it's not Philly at this point, but it's from everywhere else, man. I feel like they're just feeding off it. It's time to stop, man. Like, it's enough. Like, I get it. This is just feeding your family. It's paying your paycheck, but it's just like it's low hanging fruit. And I thought it would be interesting maybe to just like talk about this. And I know, like, straight up, I'm on board with you. Like, I don't think there's any actual.
There's no substance to this.
Yeah, exactly. It's feeding off of the backs of like past rumors and all that stuff. And I think they found a kind of vulnerable spot. They know they can attack Philly. Enough people will believe it. But I think you look at this 2 ways. Like, one, it's not true. And I mean, you can see it with what people are saying, but you can see it on looks on their faces, man. Everyone seems excited for this. I think the quote itself maybe is getting blown out a bit. They just, they're not sure if he can lead a team. Well, fair enough. The season hasn't even started yet. We don't know if, we don't even know if Devontae Smith can even play, right? Like stuff like that. Like you could ask any question right now. I could say it right now on this podcast, say some outlandish stuff and hope it blows up.
But it's just clickbait at the end of the day. And I think that's the irritating part of all this. And what sucks is, and for everybody who's watching this, it sucks for Philadelphia because they're going through this with Ben Simmons. They're going through this with the Sixers. They're going through this with the Phillies. They went through it last year with whoever I'm not a Phillies fan, but I do read a lot about the sports in Philadelphia. They're going through it with the manager before Joe Girardi, and now you're going through it with the Eagles all over again. We got over the Carson Wentz stuff. We got over Doug Peterson. We got over the whole issue with Doug and Howie. Yes, Howie has a guy that's going to listen to him. I truly don't care about your opinion in this regard because right now the city needs facts. And the fact is, Lane Johnson even said, hey, expose who it is. Let us know. Let us know who's telling you this. Let us know who your sources are, which says to you, like, it speaks volumes. Like, the Eagles, the locker room is tired of this. And Nelson Aguilar, they ate him up in the media. It's terrible to see local media and now national media is biting into it.
Yeah,
making clickbait stories out of nothing. Like for all we know, Michael Robinson could have been at the strip club with one of the players, and they mentioned something like, we're still, we're still learning Sirianni. We're still trying to see what he's about.
Yeah,
and
that's probably where it started, man. That's probably where it started. Yeah, a quote like that. And you're right. I feel like, it does start local. Like it starts with the Philly media turning on the team and stuff like that. And then the national news kind of, gets a sniff and goes, okay, I can make money off this. I can make a headline. I can get clicks. But like, Eagles media, we're the originators, right? And so I think it's just come time where, everyone's catching on, sniffing the blood, like the sharks are swimming around, right? And
they're looking for it at this point.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Sucks. It definitely is a shame because, and this is going to sound very weird. This actually excites me more because now the Eagles are in a position where Jalen Hurts is being criticized by Chris Sims. He's being left off the top 40 QB list. He's being told that high school quarterbacks can make better routine throws than he can. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are the same person in Philadelphia right now. They're in the same position. They have everything on the line, the exact same stuff. Their careers are on the line in Philadelphia in this season, and that's what excites me about this whole situation is that you can't expect nothing out of this because you don't know what to expect out of this. Like you don't know if Hurts is going to come firing on all cylinders with Sirianni calling these fantastic plays. You don't know, and could they crash and burn? Absolutely. I mean, a lot of players, and coaches crash and burn their first seasons. Doug and Carson, they started 3-0. They ended it I think like third in the NFC East.
Yeah. I don't know.
2016.
We started off hot and then just kind of fizzled. Right?
Yeah, like it happens. But what sucks is that this is a city ran by.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
By fraudulent media members, and when I say fraudulent, I'm talking about the city's report. I'm talking about the guys that nobody likes. On top of it, I'm talking about the guys who are writing the ones that nobody likes. I'm not talking about the actual official people that the news reporters out there because there's a lot of great news reporters out there. I mean, you have Jeff Mosher, you have Mike Kay, you have even Adam Kaplan at times is great. You have great guys out there, but the rest are just are fitting into a mold where they're desperate. Times are different, and they're not even popping anymore. Like people know, they know you're a rat.
I mean, you tell them the same thing that, you tell someone that, that disagrees with you on Twitter is, keep that same energy, right? If you're going to be like that during the off season, be like that during the season, no matter how it goes. Right. And, we're here on the podcast talking about how excited we are for this season, how much we got to prove. Like we're not, if you're talking about a playoff team, an 11-6 team, a 12-5 team, you're saying, okay, well, they might not be as good as like, this could be a 4 and the 17.
It's throwing me off. That threw me off.
Yeah, 4-13 team, and we'll take it at this point. Like we gotta see some development in some areas. Like it's not out of the but like why cast a shadow already? Like, with especially with other new coaches, man. You're talking about the Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. They at least let them get like 3-0 in the season before they're like, this guy can't coach. And like I don't know, Matt Rule in Carolina, like that's not a good team. And they're like, oh well, Christian McCaffrey hurt himself, and like that's it for him. So he's still a good coach. People are still on board. Man, we haven't even gotten to the season yet. They just left OTAs. We don't even know what this playbook's gonna look like. We don't know anything. And already like an unnamed source, like
it's coming out the woodwork, like, hey. And if it could be a guy that's on the roster bubble. It could be a guy like J-Jaw. It could be a guy that's just disgruntled and has had enough with the organization because of what previously happened. It's not probably something that's not even against Sirianni, which sucks. But at the end of the day, like, you have these people that are going to ride it, but then you have the franchise right tackle coming out and saying, let me know who's saying it. Like, this is BS. Miles
Fletch
Sanders
put out a tweet today too. Yeah.
Who?
Fletch.
It's funny. I was actually going to research it, but it didn't have a moment today. What did Fletch say?
He was like, who else is gonna lie today or something like that, or like something like something like that. It's classic Fletch, But like
you had the pillars of the franchise speaking out in this very moment and telling you guys like this is all this is all BS. Even Miles Sanders says this is all cap. Like it's right there for everybody to see, but the media's not gonna tell you like, hey, this guy says it's BS. No, they're gonna ride with it, saying like, yeah, give me the clicks.
I'm blanking on the name right now, but was it last year, the year before, that we cut that cornerback and just started talking mad junk afterwards?
You're talking about the ex-Cowboy.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name right now.
I see his face, but I can't remember his name, guys. If you're watching live right now on YouTube or
I tried to put that shit
his
in
name.
My memory. That's what it is. I tried to blank out that part.
His name. He had beef with Malcolm more than anybody. What's his? That's gonna bother me now throughout the whole show.
Anyways, I feel like my point is, you see this from the local media, you see it kind of
creeping out. Sorry,
perfect.
There it is.
Yeah. So you see that creeping in, man, and like you talk about a player who got cut, like no one gives them interviews, and here he is making national headlines because he's willing to talk about the Eagles. Like they know they can get the clicks, and that's the problem. I feel like 1-2 seasons, like what I think too is that with Doug Peterson's team, it may have mattered. Like you see that already. You see that division. There's some guys that are on board with Peterson, and I think like it even goes farther than that. There's some guys that are on board with the ownership. There's some guys that are on board with Howie, and some that aren't.
Jason Peters.
Yeah, exactly. And so then you talk about a new coach coming in, and they wanted a yes man, right? And that's what it is. And like at that point, if you hired this man to be a yes man, then the problem is not with the coach. The problem is with the ownership. If you know what I mean? Like if you're bringing this guy in and you're like, he's going to do what we want to do, then you can't fault Nick at all. And if that's what we're seeing, if we're going to give him once, I saw, I forget who it was, but even on Twitter, like I'd be fine after 1 year if Nick Sirianni doesn't do well, go with another coach.
Isn't that?
And it's like, are you kidding me? Like that to me is insane. Like at least give the guy like I'd say 3 years. If it's a really bad second season, maybe you'd really have to like see some major digression. I feel like before you even consider it.
So is that how far we have fallen as fans? Because even media members, like we're fans first before anything. For example, I'm a huge Mets fan. My team has been terrible since I've been born. But I'm still a Mets fan at the end of the day. And I don't, if my players suck, I don't tear them down on Twitter. I don't, go crazy about it. I have frustrating moments, but I'm not going to go, trolling this guy for the hell of it. Like, it's sad to see that this is how far fans have fallen, or even media members in the reality of it. Like, this is why players don't want to talk to the media no more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody understands how hard it is to get a player on a podcast that nobody, in that locker room pretty much knows about, to be honest. Like it's extremely hard because players don't trust the media too much, and it sucks to see that. But then I don't know, like
it's foreign to me, man. Because again, for those of you who don't know, like I'm up here in Toronto. We had Dwayne Casey with the Raptors forever, and we were loyal to him to a fault. And then replaced it with Nick Nurse, won a championship the next year. But like we, similar with the Leafs, having Shanahan as like the coach, and then we replaced him eventually. Like we, we'll take what we get, and we're loyal to the coach. So it's weird to me seeing like that. Like I don't even Doug, man. I wouldn't be upset with Doug like as the head coach. I know things needed to change and that's where
I
they
feel like
saw
it could have gone either way. It could have been Wentz gone, Doug stays, Doug gone, Wentz stays, but they went
and
the
then
route
both
of both people leaving. Like to each his own. At the end of the day, like I'm glad we actually have a good quarterback in the room, and we're not stuck like the Washington football team where you have Ryan Fitzpatrick. We have a young guy who can ball out, who's being scrutinized by the media, but we know he can ball out. Like, and I say this all the time. Look at Hurts's numbers in Oklahoma. Look at the game film in his first his 4-game sample size with the Eagles. You could see that the throws are there, but sometimes he was rushed. Sometimes he had to throw it away. Sometimes he had to improvise. But you can see like when he hit it on the mark. He was accurate. That's why I still don't get the accuracy BS that's flying around.
Yeah, I was watching clips of all the throws from Jalen from last year.
I think we saw the same video.
Yeah,
we can't say it on the podcast though.
I know.
Shout out to Chris, by the way.
I mean, some good work on YouTube. I appreciate what he does. So, I mean, you'll know it if you know it, and if not, you can find it. But yeah, a great compilation. And anyways, but yeah, so many missed throws. The other thing too I want to bring up that I saw is Greg Ward and Jalen Reagor are open a lot, like a crazy amount, bro. The middle, like I don't know, especially Reagor, man. Like I don't know.
Was it the Green Bay game and when he threw the pass to Greg Ward that there was wide receiver wide open right up the seam?
So many, like Green Bay, even Arizona, like Saints too,
there, bro. But
it's like I think what it was is the plays just like he's the 4th or 5th read. And it's hard to be the 4th or 5th read if you're a first-round receiver. Like that makes no.
That is Peterson last year was forcing Wentz to take to throw on the first read. So I'm pretty sure that translated to Jalen Hurts as well.
Yeah, well, and here's what I'll say, and here's again, like I mean, this is more my speed because I hate talking about the drama and shit. So we can talk about film all day. I love that stuff. So yeah, so with Wentz and with Hurts, like the main difference I see, and whether or not it's being forced from the head coach, is Hurts is much more willing to take his first option. Like if you're going to get that 5 yards, and even a couple of times, like with Carson, it would be to a fault. Like he will not take the first 5 yards. And then we saw when he was forced into it, he's throwing he's throwing swing passes into the dirt. Like he just doesn't want to do it. Like whatever it is, and there's offenses for that, man. That's great. That's essentially, Patrick Mahomes. That's what he does for a living, right? He doesn't take the 5 yards; he takes the 10. And if you're a great quarterback, you can do that. But Carson, very up and down on that, and Hurts is just willing to do that. So when you're talking about a guy who does that and he takes his first reads, he takes his short routes, a lot of it's going to be game plan, and a lot of it's going to be scheme. And that's another thing I saw is like. Some stuff just doesn't make sense. And I'm sure you saw the same thing on the film. He's rolling across his body a lot, like for some reason.
It just felt unorganized. It didn't feel like a very well put together game plan each week.
Yeah,
and that's something that we all witnessed, and we even talked about a lot on Twitter. You just didn't see that organization, and ever since, and I hate to beat the dead horse, and I hate to be part of this trend, but ironically, ever since Frank Reich left. It's been a disorganized offense. Like the defense, they've been the consistent defense that they've been. They've terrible defense since Shorts has been around. But the offense was very inconsistent after Reich left. You saw guys who were just lost out there. The Eagles drafted Jalen Reagor because they didn't want a slot receiver or a player like Justin Jefferson, and ended up using Reagor in the way that the Vikings use Jefferson. Yeah, like it's mind blowing to see like there was just no
creativity at all,
nothing at all. Yeah. There was no organization in this matter.
Yeah, so many times the receivers are two receivers in the same spot. There's a lot of like mirrored stuff. Like I coach high school on the side. That's something you do in high school. Mirrored routes. Like in the NFL, there's no unless you're seeing something on film. There's no need to run mirrored routes every time. You don't need 2 people running drags and 2 people running goes on every route. Like it's just. Again, if that's to exploit the defense, that's fantastic. But clearly that's not the case because otherwise we would have been a way better offense last year. So I think the adjustments weren't happening. The playbook lacked a lot. I think again too, there's something to be said for having too many cooks in the kitchen. Like that was a weird experiment.
Yeah, they had a freaking whole Senate behind Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I just don't think that works. I think that sometimes you end up with a lesser of Oh, what's that saying? It would have been cool if I knew it. But anyways, you know.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah,
You're about to like just throw the punchline out there, and it's just like, crap.
yeah, I was ready for it too. Anyways, lesser than the greater whole or some shit. I don't fucking know. Anyways, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Drop it in the chat. Anyways, yeah, I just think hopefully they I think really what it is about is trust. Is like hopefully they just trust Sirianni to bring in his playbook, and trust extends beyond this season, man. Like if it's not working season 1, again, you brought up Doug. Like we won a Super Bowl in season 3, so you know first season it's about progression of players. It's not about are we a playoff team? Are we the best team we can be? It's I want to see Jalen Hurts limit some of those mistakes. Be more efficient. I want to see a big jump from Rager. I think that's key. I think this year what I would need to see more than anything on the offense is what is going on with the receivers. Is like last year we saw I couldn't tell you what the future was. If we stay with Doug last year, I couldn't tell you how good Jalen was going to be. I couldn't tell you if J-Jaw was still going to be on the roster. I couldn't tell you if we were going to bring back Alshon. Like I don't know what was going on with the receivers. So what I like to see is like a plan. Like what are we going to use these receivers for? Is Fulgham going to be that guy? Can Rager get some touches?
They have a really good foundation right now. I mean, you have you know what you have in Fulgham, and the coaching staff knows like, the level of talent that he has, and he doesn't have to be the guy.
Right.
You drafted Devontae Smith to be the guy. Jalen Rager is going to eat because he's the defense can be distracted by Dallas Goedert, Travis Fulgham, and Devontae Smith, and you have Rager. If you have Rager right in the slot, the kid is going to eat like there's no tomorrow, and it's going to be phenomenal to see. It's just a matter of us seeing it. I think it's just a matter of us seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah,
we can't. You know, we can't attest to what's going to happen without seeing it on in film.
And I mean, going back to that article again, like I think that kind of paints pictures. Like we don't know. So what's the point in that scrutiny? And I think again, like you know, we're kind of speculating on what it could have been drawn from. I don't think a player would have ever said those exact words. Like it's not a direct quote. But if it's the case, like he's a young guy, if he can't, like you know, I think we saw some other coaches. I can't think off the top of my head, but one of these young coaches recently had like a really bad time with game planning, and I even know like that's why Green Bay got rid of Mike McCarthy too. Is like the calling timeouts in weird times. I know Peterson had issues with it, and it's like if that's your issue with the guy in his first year head coaching, like how he manages, how he's a game manager, like he'll learn. Like what is it really that you can get right now from a player where it's like this guy can't lead?
But you know what sucks about that as well? If I'm a player and I'm speaking freely in an environment full of players, then I see in the next day a player that was in that environment say something I said or twist something that I said. Like I'm gonna lose my trust in my own brotherhood, and it happened with Shannon Sharp and Julio Jones when he called Julio on national TV, and apparently Julio didn't even know.
Yeah,
like these retired players, these legends, everybody's just out of pocket, and they're forgetting the fact that like you know in the league, that's your brotherhood, that's your sacred ground. Like what's said in the NFL stays in the NFL. That's how it should be. Yeah. And the Eagles have had an issue with that for the past like 4 or 5 years with with the Alshon, with Orlando, with Nelly. Like it's just been terrible. And so for this to happen right now, right when we are on the cusp of training camp, it sucks. But I think we're all grown enough and we all know better at this point than to listen to clickbait media.
For sure. And I feel bad when we were advertising for the podcast last week. My quote was, Sean Bradley said he punched a kangaroo. I'm spreading. I didn't want Pete on his ass or anything like that, right? So, I mean, I'm guilty too, right? So, we all do it for the clicks, for the jokes. But
things like that's a joke. Like, it's something something we officially talked about, and people are going to actually listen to that and hear it and see that. Yeah. This is something that nobody's ever going to know the truth about. We're never going to know who the player was. For all we know, it could have been Fletcher Cox. And he came out saying, like, who's lying today? Like, you get me? Like, we'll never know the truth about it. And it does suck, but it is what it is at the end of the day, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like was it McLean asking Stoutland about the like he knows man. That. Stout
I love that
knows.
interview, bro.
Well, yeah, but like you can just tell Stout knows. He's like, I know what you're fishing for, and like, no, it's not happening.
Are you gonna put that in your next article? Is that what's gonna be about, Jeff?
Yeah, I love that. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like with players, you get so many different personalities and stuff like that, and they're gonna, I don't know. It's like it's venom, man. We just like, and I say we because I mean we're part of the media too.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're a bit more different. Honest. But
yeah, we're I think that's something that Liam has really like embedded in all of us very well. Is that we're a very honest group, and whatever we say, Liam is the first person to hear it at the end of the day because he has to edit our articles. He won't allow us to put anything that's fluff out, which is great, and that's what you want, and leading the charge. So
I'd be terrified too. We said something like that, and then Sean Bradley came on the podcast. He would rip us a new one. Holy,
oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys missed out, we did have Sean Bradley on the podcast last week for the second time this offseason. We're looking to possibly get him a third time sometime late in August, possibly before the season starts. But enough for the clickbait stuff, enough for the drama. Let's talk about something good. So Chris isn't with us today because he's celebrating his wife's birthday. So shout out to Chris and his wife, and happy birthday to Bryan.
Happy birthday.
I figured we talk about, who's what's up, Fizz? You always distract me with your questions because I'm always expecting something crazy.
Fizz, we got a place for your questions, man. We will answer them all. I promise. Shoot them all out. Save them for the mailbag. We will answer all of them.
Well, this one we could probably answer today. Just hold off because I do want to get pick your brain about it. But first and foremost, what do you think is the best move that the Eagles have made this offseason to this roster, to this team? I'm gonna let you take the mic first on this one.
All right, so I feel like the I mean we were talking about a bit before. There's a few easy ones. I know that you're gonna talk about one a bit. But I think Chris would agree with what I'm saying. He's brought it up a lot. Is like Ryan Kerrigan's a great move, right? And this is I know it's not necessarily a playoff team. We don't know, but this is a playoff team move, and that's what I'm getting at is like a young team, but if we do make the playoffs, I feel like this is one of those moves that will be the reason. And no matter how much he plays, if he's rotational, I know he came here looking for more time. Yeah, good point. But yeah, it's like leaving it on the roster. I mean, we could have said moving on from Carson too, right? I was a big fan of Carson, but it's one of those moves that changed the face of the franchise, right? So for better or for worse, I know we're talking best moves, but anyways, going back to Kerrigan, one of those guys that like coming off the bench. I think that you got a lot of young guys trying to develop there. He's gonna be great. Can do a lot of things. Can cover. Can drop back. Can play the flats. And can blitz like no other. So that's a great move. But I think that my pick, and that was kind of a shout out to Chris. I know he would have said that. So there you go, Chris. And that's where I'm going. I think Eric Wilson was the best move. You're talking about a team that doesn't like to spend on their linebackers historically, and I think that that's overblown too. Because when we won the Super Bowl, we had a first round pick, a second round pick, and then anyways, it's overblown. But a team that for the last couple of years at least doesn't like to spend on the linebackers. Spent a few draft picks on some, and brought in a guy who had 120 tackles last season. Is here for pennies, man. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that say
he's here. Yeah. He's here for Flacco money.
Honestly, yeah, same deal essentially. So some have some questions about what he can do in coverage. Some have some questions about whether or not last year was kind of a one-time thing. But Eagles linebackers rack up tackles. I know the scheme is going to be a little bit different, but it seems like the flow to the ball is going to be on top of the list. Getting involved in the play. So like if he can duplicate that season, even maybe a little bit less, and help the young guys come along, that's going to be a huge addition. If we had some good linebacking for once, this would be a very different defense.
Absolutely. Like, I agree with that.
How many times last season was it like a play by a linebacker we lost? Vice versa. Well, vice versa. We had him on last week. We talk about that Pittsburgh game. Sean Bradley made a stop at the goal line. Completely different game, right? Whereas, the next play that happens. Anyways, I won't get worked up. But yeah. So some good linebacking, man. I'm excited for it. I think that Eric Wilson's gonna be a huge part of that. And so I think that's going to really make a difference. But yeah, I'll pass off the mic to you because you had an interesting one. I like this. I didn't see it coming. It's not who I thought you were going to pick.
Well, it's funny that you didn't see it coming because so shout out to Marquise Irvin and Burgain31 that they beat me to the punch in saying it. Mm-hmm. But Anthony Harris to me is the move. It was one of the first moves that they made this offseason, and it was probably the most brilliant move they made this offseason because you bring in a safety that's very aware of what Jonathan Gannon is going to do. Mm-hmm. You also bring in a safety that's consistent. He played 14 out of 14. He started 14 games in 2019 out of 14. He played 16 games in 2020. And then one of those years he had that 1 year we had like 6 picks, which is not going to happen again. I get that. But the key to bringing Anthony Harris in is he's not Jalen Mills. He's more so, he's not Malcolm, but he's enough. And what people saw from Darius Slay last season was a cornerback they felt like it was getting beat so often, but he was getting beat because he had no help. And Slay isn't the kind of guy that you just put on an island and you just keep him there all game long, which is what Schwartz wanted to do. Slay's at the end of his career, to say. He still has probably a good 2 years left. You bring in Anthony Harris to kind of just filter out that cushion between the safety and the corner. You're going to see a different Darius Slay this season. As long as the Eagles don't trade him, you'll see a different Darius Slay this season because of the safety help he's going to have. You're going to have a healthy Rodney McLeod. You're going to have a more mature Kayvon Wallace and probably a more useful Kayvon Wallace in this defense. And Anthony Harris is the perfect veteran. Like I love this move so much because it didn't cost him much of anything at all. Mm-hmm. And the first thing you see him when he walks into the NovaCare is you see John Gannon excited more than ever to see his former safety in Philly. And to me, that is the most underrated move. It's the most forgotten about move. Anthony Harris is going to feast, and he's going to do so much good for Darius Slay and whoever CB2 is. Mm-hmm. I have no worries with our safety group. I know Rodney's on he's almost over the hill. Mm-hmm. Another injury could really just devastate his career. But you have Rodney, you have Kayvon Wallace, you have Anthony Harris now. You even have Marcus Epps, who's semi-decent enough to come in. And I think they're considering Grayland Arnold to be a safety as well. Mm-hmm. So you have the talent there. It's just about putting the product on the field. And I think Anthony Harris is the perfect guy to lead that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I know we're doing breakdowns on our PSN on our hub. We got a bunch of articles coming out, so check those out. But just kind of diving into that safety battle. I mean, you look at a team that's looking to move to more 2 safety sets and two safety formations. Like who is going to be the guy there? Who is going to be Marcus Epps? And I mean, I'm fine with him for a couple games while Rodney gets right, but for a whole
Rodney
season,
apparently said that he'll be good to start the season.
And I would love that, man. But we'll see. I would rather give him time, right? Like you said, those are tough injuries. But Kayvon Wallace, as much as I like him, more of a strong safety guy than a free safety. So now you have 2 guys on the roster that play free safety and play it well. Mm-hmm. Again, that's something we haven't had in a long time. So it's gonna be cool. A lot more looks. So yeah, I really like that pick as well.
What kills me about last season is if the Eagles had found a way to keep Malcolm Jenkins, Darius Slay would have really showed out in Philly. We would actually see the work of a great CB1, opposed to seeing a CB1 that's being used incorrectly, a CB1 that's being overused by his defensive coordinator. Like they literally had Darius Slay running the show, and it sucked. Like it sucked for him. Like if I was Darius, I'd be pissed off that the people opposite to me are not able to do their job. The people behind me are not able to do their jobs. Like, and then you have the linebackers that are not, they're not being developed. So it's like you're stuck in the middle of a mess. And that's what Schwartz's defense was last season, especially with Nick Gary starting almost every freaking game.
Rodney's injury, I keep getting to the first name thing. I feel like I'm gonna get teased for it, but Rodney McLeod's injury, I feel like hurt us more than people realize. Like that, I think he's gonna have a great season this year.
Yeah,
underrated guy. Like I feel like, I mean, when he first got traded here, I remember just watching that one hit he had against Denver over and over again. Where he's like, it was
he's very underappreciated as well.
Sanders on the side and just smacks him.
Yeah,
and early on in the season, that's kind of what he was, a free safety, kind of like a hitter, a good tackle guy, and he's developed so much. He does so much for this team. And I feel like because of the scheme, we weren't really seeing it. Like you're saying, like it's just a weird scheme for safeties and secondary in general. But the tandem, man, we're gonna have some good safety play this year. I'm really excited for it.
We really are, and it's not gonna be so much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like Gannon's gonna rely on that hybrid safety as much as Schwartz did. Like Malcolm was the entire defense at the time. Like they had him everywhere. So to have two safeties that are going to be back there doing what they're supposed to do and having the linebackers work and having a corner. I'm so suspect about the corners because I need a CB2 in this damn room.
See, I don't know if it's time to read into the fact and maybe
you think it's just what?
I'm sorry. So this is, I guess, like I think that me and Liam, either me or Liam is going to be doing the CB breakdown, but it's,
I think let's be honest
here. Yeah. I should probably double check. I said I'd take safeties too. All right, perfect. I'll get to work. I gotta go. Anyways, yeah, I think it's time to start reading into that a little bit more. I think that could be the guy. I mean, Liam really was the first one to bring it to my attention, and I know that he's been a big fan. But you don't really have anyone else with the same kind of length. And when you're playing a lot of zone defense, you're looking for the guy with a little bit of length. So I think that just based on that fact, he's got a good chance. But as you dive into it more, man, really smart player. Was thrown to the fire last year. No one's gonna look good when they have to go against those caliber receivers
against Hopkins.
Absolutely,
really good moments.
Yeah, and so it's just gonna be about consistency, man. If you can play like that consistently. And then in a scheme that's going to be a lot more favorable, I think that he's the dark horse. And then if that happens, move Avonte into the slot. That's okay.
Are you real quick? Are you sold on Avonte right now after everything?
It's going to be interesting. So what I saw when the reports started coming out with Dallas Goedert, what I saw is that Avonte is going to follow. There's a couple other names they named. I think some of those linemen. And then Josh Sweat, and then possibly Derek Barnett. So I don't know about Derek Barnett. It's going to be about the price. But Josh Sweat, Avonte Maddox deals are coming soon. And I think that he hasn't played out of your cap. So if you can keep him, why not, right? Yeah, so if he's your fourth corner, so be it. So as long as they can offer him a deal. Am I sold on him as a player? I think that's where I put him. Is if he can be your third, if he can be your slot guy, if he can be your fourth corner, you're sitting pretty, man. And especially if you have two good outside corners, you need a guy he's fearless. He'll make those tackles. He's got pretty good hands. He needs to catch the ball sometimes. But that guy inside is similar to a Patrick Robinson. Really feisty. I like that. You need that edge. And I think that's another guy, man. We're talking about all these, possible suspects for like who's leaking all these rumors. Like you don't have to worry about Dallas Goedert. You don't have to worry about Avonte Maddox. I can't see him shooting his mouth. Good culture guy. I'd never see a smile not on his face. So that's just the guy you keep if you can afford. And so I think that's where they are with him.
You think if he's Joe Flacco?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, bro. Maybe it's him, and I mean, we don't want to. I mean,
we're not speculating. We're not. We're not spreading any rumors or anything.
But fix the ticket. Someone comes in and they're dealing with, and we keep going back to it because it's honestly like this is what it is. This is the time of year. There's always a story like this that comes out. But if you're a guy that's coming played a lot of different coaches, a lot of different teams, and you go, oh, new guy, don't really know about him. You could easily stretch that and be like, oh, he's just not really sure about the coach and like, where's this going? And so like if it's something like that, like whatever, man. Joe Flacco can say what he wants to do. He's gonna sit on the bench anyways. Like I don't care.
We're not saying it was Joe Flacco. I'm just teasing more.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Don't take that anywhere, guys. Please, not today. Don't do that to me.
You'll probably start again. We have all the well wishes in the world, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is in that scenario, it's like you're really twisting words. You're really. I don't know. It's just a reach. It seems like a reach, but
it does. It's
eating me, bro. It's eating me. That's what it is.
But look, here's what I'm going to say right now, because we do have a conversation going on in the chat.
My bad.
Oh, no, you're good, bro.
Yeah, I got a topic.
You're good. We're
ranting.
Listen, we're good. And guys, if you're listening this far in and you're on YouTube right now, make sure you guys subscribe to PSN Radio. Like I announced in the beginning of the show, we are moving the audio version of the podcast to PSN Radio from here on out. The video platform will still be on Philly Sports Network's YouTube channel. All the clips from this episode, I do chop them up and I do put them out during the week. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. So Joker's Oblivion, responding to our guy Fizz, and this is in regards to your Ryan Kerrigan take. He says, "See, if we were a playoff team, I would love the Ryan K move. We aren't even close to a older defensive lineman. I guess what he's saying doesn't make sense to me. More so for him. I have no clue why he came here over other teams. And from what I got so far from Kerrigan deal is one, the Eagles always they always think they're in the mix to compete. You should know that by now with Howie Roseman. Two, the Eagles offered Kerrigan the most playing time out of all the teams that were interested in Ryan Kerrigan. Which, hey, at this point in his career, he's made enough money to a point where he's doing the Chris Long. Like, I just want to play. I want more playing time. I don't want to be, resting on the bench. So that's my take on it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting the way the question's phrased, because it is a smart move for the team. I don't think there's any way you can really put it where it's not a good move for the Eagles. He's coming here for nothing. Great veteran leadership. I think maybe there's a bit of something in his heart where he wanted to come to a rival. I don't know. That's all speculation. But you do see that a bit. That's a guy who, lost some playing time on a team that he's been with.
He's a really good player still. Like, let's emphasize that.
Yeah. So I think there might be a bit of that. I mean, we can only speculate. But yeah, I mean, if they offered him same, if not more playing time than other teams, I mean, you got to wonder who those teams are, right? Who needs pass rush? You want to go to Oakland? Like, really? Like, you could. That's one of those teams. Like, I feel like if we don't know what teams offered him money, but if it's a team like that, like, I'd rather be in
definitely
Philly.
Wasn't like a Super Bowl caliber team. If he's turning down teams like that, it wasn't the Chiefs or.
Yeah, and if it is, then you're not getting that playing time, right? Or maybe you are, but
Le'Veon Bell and LaShawn McCoy just not play at all.
Yeah, sucks. Exactly. So I think it's like one of those borderline playoff teams. We're talking about Oakland. Maybe like, I don't even know, Jaguars, like teams like that. It's like, do you want to play for those teams? Eagles, like, first of all, people underestimate how cool it is to play in Philly. I think that's something that, like, from outside Philly looking in, I see a lot of. Is like, people do want to play here, regardless of how good this team is, regardless of how shitty the media is. It's almost like a test. It's like, can I take the media?
According to 49ers and Steelers, which, I mean, the 49ers are definitely more.
Man, easy. Steelers too, man.
More definitely a deeper team than the Eagles will be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. But I think the playing time's less. I think with the Steelers too. Steelers are a team that from, and again, this always changes, but from my experience and from what I've seen, rotate less. Right.
Not too many teams really rotate the defensive ends like the defensive linemen. Like,
well, we don't know, right? And that's the thing. It's like, it's speculation. It's like, we got a new scheme, but I think that's one of those things where you might come in and you're hiring a new coaching staff and you're saying, hey, point blank, we're rotating our defensive ends. We know who we have in house, and we're not expecting BG to play 75% of snaps. That's not going to happen. So whatever philosophy you're bringing in, we're rotating our ends, and that's what we're going to give you. Damn, I saw the eyes go.
Sorry, somebody just sent me money right now. Randomly.
All right. Hey, that's never a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it's a lot of freaking money. Anyways, look. Okay, so yeah, we talked about Ryan Kerrigan. Listen, Fizz. All right, I'm going to announce this one more time, guys. So I'm going to answer Fizz's question next, because Fizz always has really good questions. As much as it irritates Chris, Fizz actually does bring a lot of good content when it comes to questions. So shout out to Fizz. So Fizz is more so a statement. The uncertainty at cornerback makes letting go of Sidney and Rasul an even worse move to me this year than last. We could have kept at least one, which is yes. I was for letting go of Sidney, but at the same time, like, Rasul, like, the kid had potential, and he showed his potential in Carolina. Like, he was just in the wrong scheme, which sucked.
Mm.
But now the guy's not here no more, and you let go. What was so a 3rd round or 4th round pick?
I think he was in 3rd.
It was a 3rd round. You let go of a 3rd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, and we need a CB2 like Sewell right now. He's not great, don't get me wrong, but he was definitely more than serviceable, and he showed that.
Well, I mean, a perfect fit for the defense we're about to run too, which is a shame. And there's no way, we could have known that, but it's unfortunate. He would have done really well in this defense. I don't know, man. With Sidney, I feel like you're right. It's like it was time. I think that he didn't really trust the coaching staff, didn't really see himself here. But with Sewell, man, like they did him dirty so many times, and he still seemed to want to play for the Eagles. So
and he had the length too. Like the kid had extraordinary length, in my opinion. I loved how long Sewell was in the home.
Hey, you're talking about a team that like constantly went on into interviews and said we need to figure out how to turn the ball over.
Yeah,
and then this is a corner that in college had like I think he had 9 interceptions, is 8 or 9 interceptions. Had some crazy interception with the Eagles. Is he a CB1? No, but I think we saw definitely what kind of corner he could be, and opposite Darius Slade. I mean, I'm just gonna get sad talking about it. He would have been a perfect fit. But questionable decisions, man. Like, I don't know, again, like what kind of culture are you bringing in? Because both those guys wanted to be here. They're young guys. So, I think we're kind of getting at that too is, hopefully there's some trust here. Like we talked about that with the coaching staff, like trust these guys to develop, man.
Yes, and I think that's a big advantage of having such a young coaching staff too, is that these guys all speak the same language.
True.
Like, for example, like you're 27, I'm 31. No, I'm 32.
Yeah, I don't understand what the hell you're saying half the time.
No. I was gonna say that we speak this, like I could talk to you like because we speak the same language because we're still. I'm still young, so I don't want to hear none of the BS.
Yeah, but Chris, it's like, what are you talking about, bro?
By the way, guys, I'm off next week because I'll be on vacation. So you're gonna get the first ever Chris and Morgan pod, and I'm so curious to see how that is going to go.
Hey, I'm curious too, bro.
I'm looking forward to that more than anything right now. But something that we haven't actually covered at all on this podcast is this will be the last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Marquise Irvin, shout out to you, man, because you actually been really consistent today too. What do you guys think of our new OC based on his work with Justin Herbert last season? So it's correct me, it's Shane Steichen. That's how you pronounce it, Steichen? Stein.
Yeah.
It's not Steichen?
I say Stein. I don't know.
Did you skip like all the letters in his name?
It's one of those things. It's one of those German last names or something.
Is it really?
I think so.
Let me see. Hold on. Now you got me looking this up. So it's spelled Steichen.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Shane Stein.
But it's pronounced Stein. Okay. Well, yeah. So Shane is the Eagles' newest OC. And one thing I think we can agree upon is I was a huge fan of how Justin Herbert just developed and flourished last season. Like the kid to me, like I had him on my fantasy team, and I was very happy to start him in some weeks. And
so you're a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah. But the kid, like the way Shane really just took that offense and orchestrated around Justin Herbert was what makes me so comfortable with Jalen Hurts being the QB of the future and the QB of right now, because you have an offensive coordinator just like Frank Reich who molded the offense around their QB. Then on top of it, you have Nick Sirianni who just like Frank Reich molded, knows how to mold the offense around his players. That's so key, and I think that's a very underrated move that not too many people are talking about. The guy was, is he the second coming of Sean McVay or something like that? No, I'm not going to say all that yet because we don't know what we're going to see. But I'm very optimistic because of the hiring of the coaching staff like Shane, like Gannon, and like Sirianni, among others. Even the kid from Florida. Kids because they're all. I feel like they're almost all younger than me. Yeah. Shut up, bro.
Well, no, but it's crazy to me. I always tell people like that's kind of the age is when like when players got drafted and I started being older than them. That was a big. But now it's gonna be like I'm older than the coaches. It's gonna be tough.
No,
it's gonna be tough. Yeah.
All right, so
he's 30. He's 30. The linebacker coach,
Nick Rallis. All right, so
32?
Shane is 36. We're gonna go over this because I'm not over it,
bro. No, okay, it's Nick Rallis. He's the youngest.
So Nick Rallis, I think, is like 29. Chris, we don't have his age.
I thought he was in his 30s still, but
why can't I find his age? What the hell? Like, this
I'm just googling that shit.
I'm googling him, and he comes up as like an article.
28.
But how did you find that? So it's not my age. How did you find that so fast?
Bro, that's tough. Dude's a year older than I am, coaching in the NFL. Good for him.
28, but, and then you have Sirianni is what?
I gotta do some shit with my life.
Oh damn! You know what? You're fired, bro. Anyways, geez. I think having what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so Shane, I think having him on this staff with Jalen Hurts is going to be very, 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 very productive. I feel like we're finally gonna have a freaking productive offense. So
yeah,
how do you feel about it?
Yeah. Also excited. I think he's a good fit. I think one thing that you kind of got to balance is Herbert may have just been a perfect fit for what he does. So like I hope there's that adjustment. As the OC, you're never quite sure how much is him, and I know that Anthony Lynn more of a hands off kind of guy, so a lot of it was him. But I think what I'm really looking forward to is, I mean, you talked about the quarterback development. That's going to be huge. Is you see a guy like Austin Eckler flourish in that scheme. And here's a guy like, say what you want about him. I think a solid back. No discredit to him. Is he an all-star? I don't know. Like,
I'm not picking him up in fantasy. Does
he pick up those numbers on a different team? I don't know. I think he fits that scheme, but I think a lot of that was game planning. So how do we get this guy the ball? We got so many good running backs.
It's key. You got to put them in like the whole key to coaching. And obviously, you coach. I don't coach. I would love to coach, but opportunities are different.
Get into, bro.
It's hard. It's a little harder, man.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing about this coaching staff is they all know how to position their players to succeed. Like that's the key thing. Like you had a Pittman last year who was an afterthought in the draft, and he was in position to succeed with the Colts offense, and he flourished. Zach Pascal, and he's an undrafted free agent, right?
Yeah, Chase Claypool,
like
another guy.
Yeah, like these guys are all in position to succeed. And you know what really pissed me off about today? When I was reading about the J-Jaw news, I don't know if you read that, that he's at like a 1% chance of making a roster. The Eagles could have had Jalen Reagor, Devontae Smith, and DK freaking Metcalf.
It's true.
I mean, do you understand
you can
what kind of lineup?
Yeah, say that again. We'll let it. Just say it again. Say it again. We'll let it breathe.
The Eagles could have had Jalen Reagor, Devontae Smith, and DK Metcalf if we didn't draft J-Jaw, who may not make the roster.
All right. We let that breathe. It's been said.
We could have had Justin Jefferson if we didn't go for Jalen Reagor.
Yeah. Honestly, okay. So here's
I'm
the
okay
thing.
with Jalen Reagor.
I'm okay with that too. The other thing I will say is if we got DK, I feel like we're not taking one of those receivers. We're not drafting, we're probably not drafting Devontae. It's probably going to be Devontae Smith.
You think we would have been that good to not be in the same position? I mean, I don't know, because Carson, I feel like Carson was on a downward spiral no matter what.
Possibly. But then maybe it's quarterback. I don't know. Maybe the receiver play is so good that they're like, okay, Carson's really not the guy. I just think it's likely, at least 50-50 that if you take DK Metcalf and he turns out, you're not going to spend both the next first rounds on receivers. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Will we be better? I don't know. I feel like DK straight up right now is better than both those receivers. I mean, I love them both, but I'd still take them. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you saw this too. It's something like I mentioned, but I noticed when I went through the comments is they did this like mic'd up clip of Sirianni talking during OTAs, and the two people he was talking most to was Newman, who we cut, and then the other receiver that we cut too.
Was it the Florida kid?
No, not Grimes.
Wait, what else did we cut?
Maybe it was one of the tight ends that we cut. Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's interesting. So like he's clearly talking. I think that like more so than anything, like he's finding out what his players can do, which I like. And that's something that they talk about a lot is accountability. And like all the players, like Lane brought it up. I know that Sean brought it up too. And like a lot of these guys are bringing up accountability. Like it's like he's going to say to you, this is what I expect. And this is what you got to do. He's vocal. He'll talk to you. But he's going to leave it up to his players. And I think that that's something that like maybe is a bit of a change from Doug. It's like, if you are going to say, hey, Jalen, we're going to spend a first-round pick on you, and you're going to give him 5 targets, and then you're going to put him in weird positions, and you're going, actually, no, like, let's bring Alshon back, and let's put Deshaun in as soon as he's healthy. It's like, that's not, like, you're not, if you're expecting young players. Yeah, if you're expecting young players to develop, you're saying, hey, it's going to be an 8 today, and a 9 tomorrow, and then a 10 next season. And you're going, oh, well, we're at a 6 right now. Well, all right, Deshaun. It's your chance again. Go have a touchdown, and then, I don't know. Like, so I hope that again, like, I hope that I don't even know how we started, to be honest, but
listen,
it's been one of those days.
You're right. You're right on the mark though, because even Lane Johnson came out and praised the accountability that Nick Sirianni is bringing to this Eagles team, because apparently, according to Lane, it was not there last season, which is key to everything. Which is key to everything that happened last season with Carson, with Doug, with literally every single move. So the fact that Sirianni is coming in and holding the players accountable is everything right now, exactly what this Eagles team needs.
Absolutely. Shane Stein, that's what we're talking about.
I
like it. I like it.
I like
look for Sanders to explode a bit this year. That's what I'm hoping.
He needs to explode this year if he wants to sign.
Yeah, I'm banking on it. And like either Sanders is the guy and he explodes this year, or he's not the guy. That's
or
like
Kenny Gainwell's the guy.
Hey, and I'm not upset with that either. I didn't realize. I mean, I did, but I didn't realize until after they drafted him that he's Fletch's cousin. That's kind
of same thing. I did not realize that. I was doing all that research on him, and I never put the stumble upon that kind of news.
Yeah, it's dope. I like that.
But guys, we're gonna wrap it up now. Just again, last time I'm gonna say this.
Plug it.
PSN Radio. Make sure you guys subscribe to them, because we will be shooting our audio version of the podcast over to PSN Radio from here on out. YouTube will still be on the same channel, but you can catch our clips throughout the week if you don't want to rewatch the whole thing. I usually post the clips throughout the week on our YouTube channel, which is Flippin the Birds, and the link is down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to that. But other than that, Chris and Morgan, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, tune into that.
That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to throw some controversial shit at him from the get-go and just watch him go.
I'm going to tune in. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch it. Yeah. I'm going to have fun editing that too. But anyways, guys, we'll talk to you guys next week. I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett. And this is Flippin the Birds.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.